Hi there, it's Jen. I'm trying to get my camera here fixed. Today I am doing a card and possibly another project using the Spellbinders. This is the small die of the month for January, and it's got some really cute dies. Just for size, this is a piece of Tim Holtz watercolor paper. So, I mean, it fits good. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So there's decent sized dies. I don't subscribe to any kits except because I never knew which one to subscribe to. But after looking at Spellbinders, their designers are awesome. The projects they create are they just blow me away. So I really thought about this for a while. Spellbinders has several different kits with different price ranges. I ended up subscribing to the kit. It's called Kitschy. So it's the small die of the month, which was what I just showed you. And then it's also the card kit of the month, which also has dies in it. So there's both dies, and it was like $35. I thought it was an awesome deal. And so, and it sounds like from reading that you can skip at any time. So that's what I chose to do. So I got the first kit, and I believe the small dies are sold out for January, and I'm not sure about the others. So I'm just going to do some ink smushing today with some pinks, and then I'm going to do some dry embossing with the die. So I'm not actually going to use the die to cut today. I'm actually going to use it to pretty much emboss on the paper. And unless I'm doing like watercoloring, I don't usually tape my panel down. I mean, if you want so that it doesn't roll up like mine is doing a little bit, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that today. So I'm just going to go ahead and do these pinks in kind of a pattern that I like. And the CHA, which is basically the craft show of the year, it's every year and it's in Phoenix, but you have to be a member. It's kind of like a trade show, and so it's not open to the general public, or I would be there, but it starts today and I believe it runs through Monday. So your YouTube favorites, I know Craft Test Dummies is a channel that I watch, and they have, they usually do a kind of a walk around and show you the new products and stuff like that. So I did see a video this week. Tim Holtz was releasing like previews of stuff that he was coming out with, some tonic stuff. The stuff that really interested me was there's some new alcohol inks, which I don't use that much. I have some, but I don't really use that much. But the Distress, so I'm going to go ahead and use, oh no, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use my Spectrum Aqua pen. This is Leaf Green. I just got these for Christmas, so I just have this one set. I think it's the floral sets. They're 12 markers. And so I'm just going to use that. But some of the Tim Holtz stuff that's coming out is there's going to be some new Distress colors, or not new colors to the line, but the Distress Oxides, as you know, there's only 24 right now. So there's going to be another set. There's going to be a set of 12 coming out that releases, I believe he said at the end of January they will start shipping. And then he said throughout the rest of the year, during several times during the year, they will be releasing the entire line of colors. So I obviously am not going to be able to keep up with that because, yeah, that's going to be too expensive, and I haven't even got all the second set yet. So I just thought that was pretty cool, that they're going to have all of them available. So that will be pretty neat to have all of those. And then also another interesting thing is I have the stamp platform, which I just got this is not coming out how I want. I just got the stamp platform for Christmas, and so he's coming out with a 6x6 size stamp. That's not working for me. A 6x6 size stamp platform. So that's a new product that's coming out. Also, he showed, let's see, I'm trying to think. He showed some new brushes to use for ink, more controlled ink coloring. And then, what else was there? I'm going to try and do this green, but not overdo it. So there were some brushes that he showed, and then he also showed, if you watch Vicky P's channel, she uses the tonic, it's kind of like a glass mat, which is really super cool. So you can use it to cut on, you can use it, you can use it to cut on, you can use it, I don't know why this is not working for me today. But, you know, to put your liquids down on is actually a cool thing. So, and I believe that's already, I think that might be just a tonic tool. So I'm going to do, I'm going to take the die, the heart die, and I am just going to emboss it on my panel. And I don't want it to cut. So I'm just going to do like a dry emboss. I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to use the die as an embossing tool, basically. So to do that, what you want to do is, I have the Big Shot, so what I do is I open up the plate to the number 1, and then I'm going to take my bottom plate and put that down, and then I'm going to take my little piece of rubber, which is filthy dirty, so I shouldn't actually, but and then you're going to want to put your die side up. You don't want to turn it over. It embosses much better this way. But if you don't have one of these, I mean, this isn't really terribly thick. You could probably use foam, or if you had a thin piece of rubber, you know, from a craft store or something, I'm sure that could be used. This actually just came, like I bought this Big Shot used, and so it just came with it, and for a while I just wasn't really sure what it was for, but... So when I run it through the embossing machine, or not embossing machine, when I run it through the Sizzix, I do it many times back and forth, just to make sure that I get a good impression. And as you can see it from the back, but the front, you can't really see it that well because I have all of the ink on there. But I just wanted to show, this is not how I'm going to use it, but I just wanted to show that you can use the back also, because that part is actually the part that's raised. So it actually has kind of a cool effect also. If you wanted to use that, you know, if you just wanted to put it on plain cardstock and then color it afterwards. And that has it comes out pretty darn cool. That's not what I'm doing today, but I thought it was kind of cool that I actually didn't realize that, because I don't do dry embossing with my dies very much. But I thought that was kind of neat that you can also use the other side if you chose to do that. So you can kind of see the embossed portion right here. So my video had cut out and I hadn't realized it. So basically all I did though was I took one of my edge dies and I cut along the sides. And then I also went ahead and took my Spectrum Noir Aqua marker and used it as a watercolor. So I used Bud Green, and all I did was took a paintbrush and just colored around this outline of the heart so that you could see it. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my sentiment, and I'm just taking this It's a Miss Sparkle & Co. stamp, and I'm going to use the one that says I love you. And the ink that I'm going to use for this sentiment is VersaFine Sepia, which is basically just a brown. And the font is kind of like a typewriter font, so it's a little imperfect. But I like the brown sentiment against the pink. I like brown and pink together, actually. Brown and pink and green. I just think that's a good combination. So I go ahead and angle both corners and fit that all the way across the heart. So I decided to go ahead and pull this die out from the same set. It's actually from the card kit of the month, just to give the card a little more detail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the distress marker. This is Mowed Lawn, this is Walnut Stain, and I'm just going to go ahead and this is Bristol Smooth. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to take a paintbrush, and then I'm just going to go ahead and put, and I don't know why this marker is just so I'm basically just coloring on the Bristol Smooth and taking my paintbrush and kind of blending the colors out so that I can place the floral die on there, and it'll be kind of like a floral. It'll be like a little bit green and a little bit brown. And so I go ahead and I do this for several, I believe I do 4, but I end up only using 3 on the actual card. And then I also go ahead and I do 2 shades of pink with my Tombow markers, and I am going to do some hearts with these. So it's pretty much the same concept, just different colors. Pieces. The little hearts, I used this die right here in my stash. It's just like a strip die. And then I use this little heart right here, that little die for the other hearts. But so here's all my pieces. I have 4 little stems, but I'm probably not going to use all of them. So now I just got to figure out the placement on my card. And so I take the floral pieces and I'm going to adhere those using my Arranger Multimedia Matte. And I find it easiest to put some on a paper and then just use the tip to run it across whatever I'm adhering, because knowing me, I would probably get a big old glob out that I don't want. So that's what I do. I do have one of those fine tips, but for me it seems to get clogged a lot, so I don't prefer to use that. This is just easier to do this, or even with a toothpick or something like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere the florals, and then I take one of the big hearts and I adhere that, and then I will also take many of the tiny little hearts and put those on some of the leaves on the florals and also around the card. And let's see, what do I do? So I take my Spectrum Noir marker. I'm sorry if it sounds like really disorganized, but when I am trying to do my video editing and it's going back, it freezes, and so I can't tell where I'm at. So I go ahead and use my Spectrum Noir on all the little hearts, and then I'm going to use my Tonic Deluxe Adhesive to adhere my panel to my card base. And I think from now on I will probably use a liquid adhesive to adhere my panels. I think in most cases, because I do have a hard time, I struggle with getting the panels straight on the card. And so if you have a liquid adhesive, it's a lot more forgiving, at least for a longer period of time. And so then I just take some little pearls that I had in my stash and put those around the card. And I also use my Tonic Jewel, my translucent drops. And that is the completed card. I hope you enjoyed. I really love how this turned out. And please give me a thumbs up if you like this video or found it informative. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that red subscribe button. And I look forward to catching you next time. Thanks a lot.